You know, the power I have as a prosecutor is that with a swipe of my pen, I can charge someone with a misdemeanor, the lowest level offense possible. And by virtue of that swipe of my pen, you will have to go to a courthouse and stand in line. You will have to come out of pocket and hire an attorney. You may get arrested for a few hours. You will be embarrassed in your community. You will miss time from coming onto the Google campus. All because with the swipe of my pen, I've charged you with a crime, which I may choose to dismiss 2 weeks later. It's an incredible amount of power.
All right. Welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official show. I am your host, beatzillapdx officially. And this is the midweek report. Got some things to discuss this evening. And namely, one is something that's probably going untalked about as much as kind of reparations has been as of late, because most of the talk has been about Kamala Harris's race. But now we actually have to start talking about some policies. She's picked her running mate. Things are official. So we are going to now dive into the facts. Because, you know, a lot of times people often say that you can't, especially now, all of a sudden, you shouldn't get your news from the internet. Interesting part about that message is I got it from the internet. So what the mainstream media is telling you, and as you will see in my series that will be dropping on the power of the grassroots, power of the black grassroots at that, we're going to just start doing those. So those will be coming in shorter videos in short form, just letting you see the evidence of your hard work and your dedication and your consistency. Grassroots, Black America, Foundational Black American Freedmen. Even if you identify as ADOS, that means you by the lineage, not the organization. But with that being said, because I know a lot of people get caught up on that and hung up on that, and I really think it's time for people to stop being so emotionally driven about that. Because one thing about it, it shows the rest of the world we are still, the needle still moves based on our emotional position. And that is one thing that we definitely want to make sure the world understands. This particular community, this particular nation within a nation, Black America, we need to let the world know our true stance, because right now we've had roll over, get along to go along to get along type individuals that have been in the forefront representing us because they've been handpicked to do so. And so we're seeing things shift because the people now have a voice. So what they are literally telling you when they say don't listen to social media, especially X. And let's be clear, they're not just talking about posts, they're talking about the spaces. And they're talking about hearing from the actual people, which is you. They hear your voices in spaces. So now what they want the masses to say, don't listen to the people. While claiming you're literally doing something to benefit those same said people, but don't listen to them. Don't listen to their concerns. Don't invest yourself in what they're saying in these rooms. Well, okay, you can have that position if you want to. And with that, we also have a position here as well. We, this election, are voting no to benign neglect, which has been the long-standing policy for Black America from the DNC. One thing we can say about Donald Trump is he's uncontrollable. So even if there was a mandate by the RNC, Donald Trump, if he saw it fit that it would help him win, doing something for Black folks, he probably would, because winning is his aim. Understanding the psyche of the person you're dealing with. Is Trump a racist bigot? Yes, I would say so. And I would say that's my personal belief. But I do business, and all of us do business on a daily basis with racist bigots. And this is about business. This is not about emotions. This is not about how we feel. And I want to get into some things tonight because we have to just go with the real versus the sensationalism that they're selling right now. 17 days and counting, and Kamala Harris has only done events for her campaign. She has not talked to the press. Even right now that she has a running mate in Tim Walz, there's brief bios on their page as of today. Brief bios on their page. But you could go buy a shirt right now. You can donate right now. This campaign inherited 290 million or 240 million, something like that. 240 million, that's not lightweight. It's a lot of money. And so to act like, oh, well, we need to need all this money. What do you need all that money for? Donald Trump is not running a bunch of ads. I see very few Donald Trump ads. So what is all that money going to? Why is everybody needing to donate so much money to beat who they say beat Donald Trump? Donald Trump isn't even putting out commercials like that. He doesn't have to spend his money like that because, truth be told, here's another issue that you have. As long as you're willing to tell the same lie about a person who is not, as told you, they don't represent that, you're still keeping them very relevant. And the one thing that everybody will be able to still keep looking at is, while you're keeping them relevant, you're also lying on the man. So you're keeping a relevant lie relevant. You're not letting this lie go away. Then you double down with Kamala Harris, and then you make that lie stick, and you're doubling down on that one. Now that Judge Joe Brown has came out and told you he's met Kamala Harris's father, that's a man that doesn't identify as Black, but identifies as Indian Caucasian. Now, we're not even hearing that he's half Indian. They're trying to play all kind of games and semantics with his lineage, but he never identified as Black. He identified as an Indian Caucasian. Very proud of his Irish ancestry, which is white. So that's where his allegiance was. And then you hear Kamala Harris, her upbringing is in the Hindu tradition, not in the Black America. So they say, well, she got her Black experience as a grown adult going to Howard University. That's supposed to be the black experience. If it's not going to be enough for Emmanuel Acho, then why would it be different for Kamala Harris? Simply because she's the presidential nominee for the Democrats? We are literally going to say what doesn't work for this guy, and this is just a few months ago, by the way. Oh, he ain't talking for us. And now that voice is split. Why? Because some people are saying this party, and I salute to Phil Scott for this one. I firmly believe you all have fell into a blue code. Those of you who believe this madness and you just can't let it go for no reason whatsoever, no matter what they do to you, you are going to hold on to this philosophy that these folks are your party and it's a we thing over here with the Democrats. The Democrat, the DNC organization is a corporation. Your job don't care about you. Why do you think these people do? They're a corporation to whom you fund. Y'all just went and got them a whole bunch of money. Man, no sirree, Bob. No sirree, Bob. So, and as you guys are coming in, please hit that like button, hit that share button if you have not already done so. Subscribe if you have not done so. Hit that notification bell. Hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded or video premieres. Then you'll be notified that way. And then also, if you would like to, you could join and become a member. That you hit the join button, and that way you would be into the members area. You would have the badge that you see in the chat, and then you would see, like right now, there's a video that will air tomorrow in the members only area that they've already seen. And so you get, those type of privileges when they are available. So with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in again on this Wednesday night. So one thing I want to talk about is the faux fight for freedom. And it's the pander that always gets me, because it's the pander. It's the push to pander past America's memory. What they are hoping is that your memory has went away, what is what all has taken place under this particular administration. Number one, day one, they opened the borders. They also gave a few of these other groups some extra protections. Black folks still the number one group of hate crimes, but being victims of hate crimes, shall I say. And still we got nothing, but we watched other groups get buku money. Then we started making a little more of a vocal presence. And, what can you say? When we make a vocal presence, they have to recognize, you're seeing, and that's something you're going to see on this series that's coming up also, that's talking about the power of the grassroots, because they have to acknowledge that it's the voice of the people. It's our message that they are combating, and they're trying to combat our message to keep hold of benign neglect. And I don't think enough Black people really understand that. But we're, again, like I said, they have done this successfully for quite some time by pushing past or pandering past your memory. This time, we just want to take you back to back when we were in like the 2001s and the 2002s. Because right now, if you listen to Kamala Harris, she does a whole lot of talk about women's freedoms and medical freedoms, and you got to have your medical freedoms and blah, blah, blah. Does anybody remember mandatory jabs or your job? And then, you have people come out and say, oh, well, they didn't make it mandatory. That's not accurate. And so they have one of those fact-checking sites that they use, by the way, PolitiFact. And so you can ask, did the Joe Biden administration ever bring forth a mandate for mandatory jizz-nabs? Now, PolitiFact is telling you, well, no, technically they did. Yeah, that's not right, actually. So understanding PolitiFact and some of these other things that talk about fact checking, they did not fact check well enough. So let me just read you some of the things that they were doing. And this, because again, they know that this is going to become a question. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he had mentioned something about, whatever they did. They said he says the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled the vax mandate unconstitutional. And then she comes in and says, RFK Jr. claimed that the Ninth Circuit Court ruled the jab mandates unconstitutional. That's false. If let's see. So in brief overview, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals overturned the lower court's dismissal of a lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of a school district's policy that required staff jabs against that thing. Legal experts who follow jabs and health laws told PolitiFact that the appeals court didn't rule on the jab mandate's constitutionality. The appeal court ruling said the lower court might have incorrectly applied a U.S. Supreme Court precedent related to jab mandates. Okay, so way to get it out of your hands. And these are the things that are going on. I also read one earlier that said about if they ask for mandatory things. Yeah, here it is. So somebody says, so I guess on a Facebook post, says Joe Biden promoted mandatory jabs for everybody in his March 11th address. Bill McCarty says, no, Biden didn't promote mandatory jabs in prime time address. Now, here's the short overview of it. In a March 11th address to the nation, President Joe Biden said that the White House would direct state, local, and tribal governments to make all American adults eligible to sign up for a jab by May 1st. He did not say jabs would be mandatory. House would direct state, local to make all American adults eligible to sign up. Okay, so he didn't technically. See, they're using weasel words now. Biden previously said he would not institute a federal jab requirement. In any case, the federal government authority to do so is so limited. Okay, so that's what they're saying. Oh, well, he never did anything like that. And so for all of you people who would say that, man, see, I told you right there. See, they got the facts. Man, they got the facts right there. Man, Joe Biden, man, I'm telling you, see, y'all over here, all that internet, all that social media news y'all talking about, that YouTube news you're getting, well, man, y'all don't really know what y'all talking about. And see, the truth of the matter is, PolitiFact got the answer. He and she did not have and try to push, force, mandatory Jizz So you fast forward a little bit of time, and lo and behold, here is an article here that I have before me that reads. Here's the headline, by the way. It's kicker. Because the fact checker told you that, hey, man, he never said nothing like that. The Supreme Court blocks Biden jab mandate for businesses. Allows healthcare worker rule. So that actually tells you he instilled something already, and Supreme Court had to block his mandate for businesses. That is a across the board mandate trying to take away medical freedoms from all Americans, not just women. For black folks, they gave you Dr. Kizmikia, to whom you haven't heard from again. Now, why do you think they put her in front of you? Oh, because she was a black woman. Go figure. What are you doing right now? You're getting hype and emotional over no policy because of who you perceive as a black woman, who is not. But nonetheless, it reads, the Supreme Court on Tuesday blocked the Biden administration from enforcing its sweeping jab or test requirements for large private companies, but allowed a jab mandate to stand for medical facilities that take Medicare or Medicaid payments. The ruling came 3 days after the Occupational Safety and also OSHA's emergency measure for businesses start to take effect. The mandate required that workers at businesses with 100 or more employees get jabbed or submit a negative test weekly to enter the workplace. It is also required unjabbed workers to wear masks indoors at all times. And now they've already kind of came out and said how masks don't really do anything either. But you're just wearing a mask, stomping your natural breath, cutting into that for what? No way that's, hey, mask up. Now, masks ain't nothing now. Masks just fell to the wayside just like that. Yeah, forget about it. Although Congress has indisputably given OSHA the power to regulate occupational dangers, it has not given that agency the power to regulate public health more broadly. Requiring the jab of 84 million Americans selected simply because they work for employers with more than 100 employees certainly falls in the latter category. I'll say, and that's what the court wrote. See, the court had to jump in here and intervene, man. Goes on to say, liberal Justice Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, Ellen Kagan dissented, writing that the majority has usurped the power of the Congress, the Congress, the president, and OSHA without legal bias. We have a presidential nominee right now without a vote. There's been no vote of the people right off the rip. So, about that. In the face of a still raging pandemic, the court tells the agency charged with protecting workers' safety that it may not do so in all the workplace needed. Yeah, okay. Oh, all the workplaces needed. Okay, here's the good one. President Joe Biden said the Supreme Court chose to block requirements that are life-saving for workers. Biden called on states and businesses to step up and voluntarily institute jab requirements to protect workers, customers, and the broader community. I'll stop right there. That's enough. That's what came from their administration, taking away your medical freedom. What I got to say to you, Black Democrats, is how on earth are you talking to us about what's going to be done, and what's going to be done this, and what's going to be done that? Let's, again, if you did not catch the very beginning of this broadcast, let's think of who we're voting for, who you want us to vote for right now, and then understand who she has been right there next to. It's no coincidence that the successor to Strom Thurmond's successor, they're promoting. I wonder why.
You know, the power I have as a prosecutor is that with a swipe of my pen, I can charge someone with a misdemeanor, the lowest level offense possible. And by virtue of that swipe of my pen, you will have to go to a courthouse and stand in line. You will have to come out of pocket and hire an attorney. You may get arrested for a few hours. You will be embarrassed in your community. You will miss time from coming onto the Google campus. All because with the swipe of my pen, I've charged you with a crime, which I may choose to dismiss 2 weeks later. It's an incredible amount of power.
It's absolutely an incredible amount of power, and she was very proud of flaunting all the aspects of hindering somebody already in a bad situation. With that being said, one of the things that they mentioned is Joe Biden encouraging employers. Well, here's something that the government took upon themselves to create, and it is a mandatory jab policy template. And I just want to read some things to you out of this, because I see this. It's like, wait, let me print this one out. So it's going down to actually one of the first places I highlighted, because again, people will say it wasn't mandatory. Yeah, it was mandatory. And it says, well, number one, that's the very first word of this particular document. But it says that the employer may use this template to develop a mandatory vid jab policy for their workplace. And I'll skip down to this other little piece. It says, lastly, employers using this template should consider incorporating their policies and procedures for non-employees, i.e. visitors or customers, and for employees of other employers, i.e. contractors and contractor employees. So they want, this is what they're pushing. And mind you, this is a government template. This wasn't just some random template out in the wind. This is literally the government template. This is what I'm reading. It says, because it's a template. This is for you to use against your workers. Why would the White House push this out if they weren't? Well, you already heard Joe Biden encouraging people to mandatory. So if you don't do what they're saying, you're gonna lose your livelihood. But now we're worried about women losing freedom to go delete their babies. And as you see in the top left corner, mind you, they say up to date 2024 has seen the most deletions of children in recent years, and that's coming from the Planned Parenthood themselves. So what does that say? What y'all voting for over there? We over here just being black, and if ain't nobody got no black conversation, no black interest, no black dollar, and no anti-black hate crime, Yeah, it's just kind of how it's looking. It's definitely how it's looking. For real. Okay, so let me get back to. Okay, so it says purpose. That jab is a vital tool to reduce the presence and severity of the stuff cases in the workplace, in communities, and in the nation as a whole. They say employer's name has adopted this policy on mandatory jabs to safeguard the health of our employees from the hazards of the pandemic stuff. Now, you got this is a how many of these businesses wasn't going to just copy and paste their names off up in here? And this is telling you where the White House is coming from, man. Straight up. Hey, yeah, well, we couldn't make, so no, they couldn't mandate it because their mandate got overturned by the courts. So to say that they never made a mandate, oh yeah, they did. That's what got overturned. It would had to have been in place to be overturned. It being overturned doesn't mean it never existed. And so PolitiFact, you're dead wrong for that. And they're so-called fact checkers. And they're the ones who say, oh, yep, he said this and said that, and your stuff getting taken down. That's the level of fact checking they got. Okay, so let me see. Scope. This mandatory GISNAP policy applies to all employees of said employer, except for employees who do not report to a workplace where other individuals, such as coworkers or customers, are present, employees while working from home, and employees who work exclusively outdoors. Oh, like all of the big wigs that probably would be golfing. So, certain employees will be exempt. Okay. Let me guess. Make sure all the black ones get it because, black folks are underserved and all of that, right? Let's see. Going on. Okay. Okay, because there's some other stuff in here I wanted to kind of hit. Because this is, like I said, this is just a template. But there's another part in here that I found. I was like, whoa, this is kind of interesting. Oh, and so they're asking, they're putting in, and this is one of the things they had in place, if you guys remember, jab status and acceptable forms of proof of jab. Remember, they were having you had to prove that you actually had it. And then for the folks that like were cruising and traveling and trying to travel abroad, you couldn't if you didn't have it. It's crazy. Now all of that's gone, and now they could be like, "Oh, I'm sick with it," and they just, "Oh, okay, I'm right here with you, and just gonna tough it out." If anything was that potent and that deadly, there's no way that everybody can just be sitting up here walking around healthy now while still getting infected or bothered by it. Well, I mean, but the one big thing is a lot of these people just went ahead and put it in their system. So it's that part. Let's see. Supporting of the GISNAP. No, that's not what I wanted. Where is this at? Yeah, medical removal from the workplace. And this is, again, I'm reading a template. Oh, okay. So yeah. Employee notification of jab, the pandemic, need for the pandemic, and removal of the workplace. Wow. So employer name, that's where the employer go, whoever that is, say Acme Company, will require employees to promptly notify their supervisor when they have tested positive. Oh, okay. And none of that's even a thing anymore. That's crazy. Medical return of criteria, isolation guidance, testing. They got the section on face coverings. Again, already kind of proved that didn't work. New hire thing. Let me see if they have that in here because I thought it was in this paperwork. To where they put it in there. Basically, you'll be noticed that you're going to get terminated if you don't act or comply with the proof. So the status and acceptable forms of proof. Acceptable forms of proof. That's on status, submit proof and proof of the jab that indicates full jabness. Employees who are partially jabbed submit proof of jab indicates when the first dose of the jab was received, followed by proof of the second dose when it is obtained. And I don't know about that. Employees who have not been jabbed up submit statement that you are submit a statement. Oh, come on, man. Submit a statement. Okay, so in some of these cases, you could be fired if you don't comply. And this coming from the administration that keeps pumping the talk of freedom. Freedom, 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 freedom. And then you have people coming in line because this vid issue is a real thing. They're like, well, hey, don't bring that up. No, don't bring that up. No, they didn't actually do that. The things they did, they're now going on record saying they didn't do these things. So it's very interesting. But, fast forwarding to now, we have to also look at who's running now on this Democratic ticket. And I've seen an article today because they, of course, are talking about healthcare. Healthcare is one of the topics. So this article says 5 ways a Harris-Walz win could reshape U.S. healthcare. It says Kamala Harris has chosen a running mate. The vice president and Democrat presidential nominee announced Tuesday that she's selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for her 2024 ticket. Quote, as a governor, a coach, a teacher, a veteran, he's delivered for working families like his, unquote. Real quick, I'm hearing just on the radio today, on my local radio, it seems as this man's record isn't all that they're really making it out to be, because he actually kind of is looking like he quit on his squad. But that's conversation for another day, I guess. Says, now that the Democrat ticket is locked up, plenty are wondering about what a Harris-Walz win could mean for the country going forward. A May 2024 poll by Pew Research Center found that healthcare is a major concern for voters going into this election. Healthcare? Since when and don't get me wrong, healthcare has definitely been a conversation, but it ain't at the top. Healthcare is not at the top anywhere. That's that's very interesting. That strikes me as trying to make a pivot to start talking about like healthcare, because then maybe they have an angle against Donald Trump saying, hey, you want to cut this, you want to cut that. If Trump people actually get them the factual data, that argument might not work so well, considering that Kamala Harris is still part of the Biden administration. So it sounds nice to people who haven't researched this, but while they're talking about Project 2025 is going to be cutting Medicare and be cutting this and that, right now this Harris Biden administration is already cutting benefits. Proposing cut benefits, a cut in benefits. And hearing people that are on some of these plans are like, hey, you know, they're trying to take our programs away. But you're not hearing that in the mail or in the news. Let's see. Let me go ahead and keep reading. Okay, so health was a major concern in this election, with questions about what Harris and Walz would potentially change across a range of healthcare issues in the country. Harris' campaign is still in the early stages, and she hasn't spoken out about her all. Yeah, she hasn't spoken out about all her views. I don't know why. I guess that's a typo. So she hasn't spoken out about all her views on the topic just yet, but her history with several areas of healthcare suggests her stance on a range of topics. That said nothing. Health policy experts stress that a lot of what Harris and Walz could do in this office largely depends on what happens in Congress. This is a divided country, says Leighton Koo, PhD, director of the Center for Health Policy Research at George Washington University, Milken Institute School of Public Health. I don't think Harris would be likely to have control of both houses of Congress, but all sorts of things can happen. Yeah, well, it's happened before, and what they gonna do with it? They had it when she got it in the first place. Read it on. No matter who the president is, reforming healthcare in the United States is a tall order, giving the power of lobbying abilities of the health insurance companies. What are you kidding? Lobbying of the mandatory, and so that means that companies are getting federal money. What you talking about? See, they'll sit up here and tell you, yeah, they fought Big Pharma. No, you funded Big Pharma with running experiments on the American public and taking their medical freedom away, taking children and parental freedoms of their bodies away. That's what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden did. They had and then tried to force it on everybody. It got turned down by the courts, and the White House turns around and puts out a template on how private entities could force their employees into this madness. Get this jab or you ain't gonna have a job. And look at where we are right now. Insane. So goes on to say, here's what a health policy researcher and doctor anticipate may change if Harris and Walz take the election in November. The first thing on the list, you already know. Reproductive rights will become a focus. It's been her only focus. Harris has repeatedly been vocal about her support for reproductive care access. In December, she launched a reproductive freedoms tour for which she hosted events to highlight the fallout of baby deletion bans and shared the stories of people who were impacted by strict legislation around baby deletion. Quote, extremists across our country continue to wage a full-on attack against hard-won fought freedoms. Actually, no. No. Roe v. Wade was not a hard-fought freedom. That is not true. That right there was a lie. Hard-fought freedom. And not to mention, it's not a freedom. Because, see, when you're pregnant, that's two bodies. So a woman has a right to her own body. Yeah. Well, once you took on another body and created another body, that's still another body with its own rights. But I guess the devil has told you the lie that that's not a baby, just a being with a heartbeat that somehow got made the natural way, but you have convinced yourself and the lie that you've told yourself that that is not an offspring of you. Yeah, good going. Yeah, and you're really morally fit to be making political decisions out here, aren't you? I think not. That's the first thing they talk about, reproductive rights. So let's see, because Ness is going to stay on a diatribe about that, I'm sure. Healthcare. So I'll go down to the next. This is a big old paragraph. So the very first thing about healthcare, how healthcare can change. First thing they got to talk about is abortion. Healthcare may become more accessible and affordable. Still, policies on this are vague at the moment. So abortion, pro-abortions, but she doesn't even have a plan for it. Wow. Let's see. So this guy, Harris supported. Oh, okay. Harris supported Medicare for All in the past, offering a proposal in 2019 that would have extended Medicare to everyone gradually with the option to enroll in a private insurance plan. Harris' previous support for Medicare for All is indicative of her desire to achieve universal coverage, but I don't expect her to push it in the campaign trail or if she wins the presidency. But I thought that's what she believed. So see, now we're going to say, okay, so she's black, but she can't talk about racism because she can't call American racist. That's what she told Amanda Seals. And now here she is not even standing on this because she understands the people that she also needs votes for. They're actually not pro baby deletion. Y'all understand it? She going after them too. And now Joe Biden comes out of his mouth and he's starting, the fear tactics are out of this world. Joe Biden came out here recently. I'm just seeing this right now. Joe Biden gives warning if Trump loses, not confident at all in a peaceful transfer of power. Yeah, okay. Okay. So again, that's pretty much where we're going. Talking about Medicare for All. That probably isn't going to work. But there's Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and I'm not in total agreement or total disagreement with national health care. I'm absolutely not. It makes sense if we can all get the same top of the line care. Having the medical field be tied to monetary, abnormal monetary gains is troublesome. So I'll just go on and read a few of the other little headlines they have. See, there may be more price caps on select medications. I'm not surprised. The other bullet point is healthcare consolidation healthcare consolidation may be limited. Well, that don't sound like no free market of healthcare. And then says there may be more funds for nursing homes, and that's the final. It may be. Now, here's the thing, and it's very interesting that this article comes out because what they're doing is they're saying that, hey, these things might happen. These things could happen. These things might happen. This might be in their plan. It is 17 days within this election. They have ample time to talk to the people. Right now would probably be it. Talk to the people, let the folks know your plan so all of these Democratic shills can get off of line to spend all their time trying to shame folks. Because who knows what people are on. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, Kamala's black. Kamala went to a university or HBCU. Okay, call her black. She's not a black American. And here's the point now. Now they're trying to go out of their way. Oh, yeah, well, yes, she is. She's a black American. She's definitely not if her dad is Jamaican and her mother is Indian. Well, all the slave boats went to the sentence. Oh, stop. The culture of our experience is deep. And it's trend setting, even through the midst of adversity. So, man, hope everybody understands what's happening. I wanted to really just touch on this point because it's the faux fight for freedom. Because all they keep talking about now is reproductive freedoms, and they're trying to take women's rights. While this is a party that legitimately took all Americans' rights, you were trying to have people lose their jobs, lose their livelihood to take a unproven situation that has not proven itself to really have reduced anything. They just say it because it's the benefit of everybody already having it. And all of these people who have it, I know some folks that seem to have memory issues. So it also makes me wonder that the fact that we're basically going to sit up here and say something that happened 2 years ago didn't happen. And you're confident in putting that in print. That's pretty bold. That is pretty bold. You're willing to put something in print that all of us actually lived and experienced. That's amazing, man. That is amazing. But not surprising one bit. So with that being said, when all of these people are going to come to you and say, well, this is a black woman, y'all need to vote for her. And so now here's a black woman with an old white man. Man, you know, she can't be saying nothing about black folks. She can say something about everybody else. Listen here. Y'all want to tell me how qualified she is? You want to tell me how much power she could wield? What is the point in having her power, her being so powerful, being in such a strong seat, while not doing anything for black folks? And say, well, yeah, she got the black experience. Need I remind y'all?
I think you're right there. I would not limit our employment demands to Negroes. I would include Puerto Ricans and other minorities throughout our country, which have been similarly discriminated against, though not for so long a period of time as Negroes.
Puerto Ricans weren't enslaved. Yeah, this is a problem that stems from slavery. And this compensation, yes, sir, this compensation is coming to people who were enslaved by the white man for 400 years. The Puerto Ricans don't even fit into this picture.
Well, they do fit into it.
No,
they do fit into it.
The problem is the Negro problem. They're not lynching Puerto Ricans.
If a dark-skinned Puerto Rican went down to Mississippi, he probably would be lynched too.
Spanish, he wouldn't be lynched.
No, they don't.
It's the Negro here, and as long as he can speak Spanish or some other language, or if he ties his head up with a turban or something, he can go anywhere in Mississippi or in your home that he desires.
You're not aware of the fact, are you, that African students have been arrested in our demonstrations in the South?
When they
speak French.
When they have been mistaken for the so-called Negro in America, they've been arrested.
What I'm saying is,
what you are saying is you were already working hard in tandem with your buddy Bayard Rustin to undermine the Black empowerment movement all the way back then. And notice, it's the sassy, spicy guy who's doing what? Hey, Black folks, you need to let all of these other immigrants come along with you to ride your backs. If you're getting something, they should be getting something too, because now that they came here to partake in the experience of America, they've been treated as you have been treated. So we're all the same. So if they're going to compensate you, they should compensate us too. And all I have to say to all of them folks there that believe that, because at the end of the day, you know, we are very well aware that these people, number one, have been pushing their benign neglect policy on us nonstop. The second thing that they've been doing is shoving immigrants down our throats. And these are illegals that they are funding. And then now all of a sudden we have to hear all of this talk about how Trump is bringing up her race and why is he questioning her race? And when we talk about questioning race, and then people are so quick to jump on the Kamala bandwagon, who were already down with Joe Biden in the first place. I'm tired of hearing about Donald Trump questioning Kamala being Black or not. Let Black folks handle that one. Because at the end of the day, we don't need the George Stephanopoulos jumping into this mix or all of these panels without Black folks on them having conversations about Blackness and how we should receive it when we already seen what being disrespected and having a old white man try to tell us about what our Blackness is.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't Black.
If we got trouble for figuring out if we're going to vote for him or Trump, then we ain't Black. Man, please. I mean, what? And so I would have to say, for all of the like misinformation doesn't it, and all these people who's coming out the woodwork, you guys fools and stupid and dumb and blah, blah, blah. Blame Black men for everything. Y'all, now we're screaming about your freedoms and all of that. And you let this administration convince you. And your churches as well. Mask up. Stay home. Alter your life. Get jabbed up. Encouraging jabs. I've seen it in the Black church. Now they had win with the Black church. which has now aligned themselves with Moloch worship, because that, quite frankly, is what Planned Parenthood is. And those of you who just feel that we, the grassroots, are over here to just be disrespected, and then now you are recognizing your mainstream entities having to actually talk about what we're talking about. Well, all I can say,
you shouldn't have been talking shit.
Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to come through for a hot little second and touch on this topic. Dr. Kizmikias went AWOL. Anthony Fauci is faded into non-existence. And right now they probably will, because they want you to forget about them making you get that jizz nab under their administration or lose your livelihood. If you are a federal worker, if you were in the United States Armed Forces, you guys had to deal with this. Is this patriot? How patriots are treated? These are servicemen. You told them they're out there in the battlefield and doing all kind of stuff, but they need to be worried about getting your medicine? Well, which some people say ain't even medicine. They need to worry about that? That's insane. So for those of you who believe that we should ignore the hypocrisy of the government, this Biden administration, this Biden-Harris administration, which has the same policies, just shifted over to now Kamala Harris, who has already showed you how proud she is on the idea of abusing power. You guys are so gone on this. You believe that, oh, well, man, what's the alternative? The alternative is knowing who stands where, knowing who your enemies are, and now you know what to combat before the world stage. Stop acting like slaves. If you have any kind of reservation in you that tells you would go back and change, well, then, brother and sisters, you're so scared that I'm defied, I'm terrified. Well, this is for you, Sonny Holston, especially.
Sambo, Sambo, Sambo!
The View sat up there and tried to make excuses for having a presidential candidate with softball conversation come up there before the world and tell everybody that she's scared to death. That is not a signal of strength. That's not a beacon of hope. That is a quitter. One that wants to get sympathy, and that absolutely does not show strength. And what you're looking at in the brink on an international scale, we cannot afford to have all of that damn cackling sitting up in the face of a World War III. That, by the way, her boss has most definitely helped initiate kicking off. No, 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 and no. So if you think we should still be duped and not, because again, this is the information from the YouTube. This is the internet. This isn't the mainstream media, because we are not the live stream media here. We are the new black media, the voices of new black media. And we are here as megaphones for the people. We serve at the pleasure of the black grassroots. And if you can't understand that, well, I speak for myself. Beatzillapdx official. The Beatzillapdx official show. those of you in the chat, and the voices of New Black Media, I think it's safe to say I speak for all parties involved when we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
Family, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth at gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, you can definitely do so by way of CashApp. That's $beatzillapdx. CashApp, $beatzillapdx. And we got PayPal, which is Zilla Muzak. That is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. So thank y'all again for tuning in this evening. Keep your notifications on. And remember, some people will fake the funk, but we have to see past and through all of their funk faking. Because at the end of the day, we know Ukraine is not our responsibility. So some of us will be voting couch for president because we see that there's most likely no tangibles. So there will be no vote for a lot of people. And no black agenda definitely is going to bring no vote for a Kamala Harris or a Donald Trump. So that might be couch prevailing because at the end of the day, we are voting no to benign neglect. That time is over. We are your mules no more. So, yes, indeed. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, like I said, make sure you have your notifications on. And y'all stay black, stay vigilant. Y'all stay alive. Because, man, we are all we got. You better know it. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all. Y'all have a great night. Peace.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yeah. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.